Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for watching this video. My name's Jonathan. I work as a career coach with CUNY Tech Prep. This is specifically a video to be used for Brooklyn College students to view to learn more about the program and hopefully apply if you think it'll be a worthwhile kind of opportunity. And specifically today, I'm just here to kind of in maybe 10-15 minutes kind of give a general overview of the program, give you a sense of what the benefits are for students who are in it, talk a little bit just quickly about the eligibility requirements as well as our application timeline, which is coming up soon, and then lastly kind of just quickly run through at least maybe like 3 to 4 kind of frequently asked questions that have come up at other info sessions. So first, let's talk about what this program is. So CUNY Tech Prep is a relatively new program. The 2017-18 program will be our 3rd year in existence, and we are very much looking to have more Brooklyn College students join the program. This past year, I think we had just about 8 to 10 students, and we definitely were very happy with the students that were in the program. They were very engaged. They've been having successful kind of outcomes in terms of internship or job placement, so we really want to get more from your school to come into the program. To start with, CUNY Tech Prep is a free program for any computer science or related major student from any of the CUNY senior colleges. Senior college just means it's a 4-year college, but additionally we also include City Tech and College of Staten Island, which are comprehensives. And it is a year-long program in which you kind of are in a technical training setting, and specifically you're learning full-stack JavaScript-based web development, and you also have access to individualized kind of professional development services. I myself am a career coach with the program, so I'll be talking a little bit more intensively about that, but you will have access to my kind of contact information at the end of this video, and feel free to email me any other questions. Even if they're technical in nature, I can pass those on to the staff members who can answer those more thoroughly. So, in terms of what CUNY Tech Prep is, basically, it is a program to give yourself a more competitive edge when you apply for either internships if you're a non-graduating senior or full-time technical positions if you are graduating. We do work with December graduates, so if you'll be graduating at the end of the fall 2017 semester, still apply. I was a December grad myself, and it definitely is a kind of weird time to graduate in terms of jobs, so I would really, really strongly recommend any December grads who are interested in apply. But what happens once you kind of get into the program after you apply? I think the easiest way to think about it is in terms of 2 departments. We have pretty much a technical instruction department and then a career department. To start first with the technical instruction program, accepted students, once you get into the start of the fall 2017 semester, you'll be coming to a once-a-week classroom lecture with our program. That is outside of your CUNY. Currently, it's held at our Midtown office. That's at 8th Ave and West 36th Street. We do provide students with the opportunity to get free Metro cards, unlimited monthlies with the program, just because of that travel component. But what are you doing in those actual class sections once a week? Well, the first half of the fall semester, you're going to be kind of strengthening and developing your actual skills when it comes to full stack web development. I don't have it to be able to like handily pop up because this isn't a YouTube video, but we do have an overview of what stack we use as well as what topics we cover, and we just jump right into that into the fall semester. Once you get to October, though, we shift from having it be a heavy lecture format to more of a workshop kind of format, because students will then break up typically into 2 to 3 member small groups, and for the rest of the semester from October to December, they'll actually work on developing and executing a working web application. That web application will be demoed in December. We have a demo night that's usually hosted at one of our industry partners' offices. This past December, we did it at eBay, which was a lot of fun. And that's a chance for students to present their actual working web app to a room that's full of both your program peers, program staff, but most importantly, it's a room that's also full of representatives from a lot of the different tech companies in the New York City scene. And so for us, that's great because you'll be able to demonstrate your application to those individuals. They might offer you a little bit of feedback in terms of the product that you're demonstrating, and a few of my savvy students have kind of followed up with those individuals networking-wise, and so that's led to the ability to maybe get like an informational interview out of those individuals or potentially hear about hiring opportunities later on. Once you get into winter break, no expectation for us to meet with you over that break. We only operate during the academic semesters. And then the spring semester is very similar to the fall. The first half is more of a lecture-heavy time of the year. However, we do separate into 2 tracks in the spring. And so if if coming out of the fall semester you feel like you need a little bit more of a grasp of those kind of full stack fundamentals, the first track is for students who need that kind of better coverage of what they already were going over in the fall. And then separately, we have a second track for students who feel like they're all set with the full stack technologies and they want to advance into more information or different topics. The spring semester, just like the fall though, also culminates in a project, and that'll be roughly starting in March, and then you would have that kind of spring demo night where you're demonstrating that project in May. So for us, that's one of the biggest benefits of this program is students, if they're in the program for the full year, walk away with 2 working projects that they can then use in interviews. They can have linked on their resume through a GitHub or Bitbucket or any sort of electronic platform. And that's really important. Probably one of the most important pieces of information that we've learned is that most tech companies want to see entry-level applicants have examples of their own work. And for a lot of students, that's really hard if you don't necessarily have classes that have a project built in that you feel like is at an industry standard. So for us, we like to use that not only to help make sure that you feel like you know how to implement the skills that you're learning, but to help, again, make you a more competitive applicant so you have examples of your own work when you actually start hitting the streets and applying for either internships or jobs. To take a little bit of a breather, we're going to then kind of shift right now, and let's talk about the career department. So I would say the career department is a little bit less intensive than the technical side. For sure, those classroom sections once a week are kind of the meat and gravy of the program. However, I'm a career coach myself. Accepted students get placed with a career coach for the full duration of the program. You meet with us twice in person every semester. However, you also have access to us remote. And so I have students who email me. I have students who Slack message me because that's the platform we use right now for communication. I also personally have a Google Voice number for texting, and that's been a really good boon for my students because a lot of times it's the small questions that might come up where, if you're trying to write an email message to an existing network contact, you can run that by me in terms of making sure that you just have the information in there that you want and it's at the formal level that you want. Another example is that I had a student who this year, they are an individual that does have a criminal record. However, we were able to just successfully help that individual land a full-time employment position, and that was a lot of coaching as well as helping them get a better sense of how the Fair Chance Act of 2015 comes into play in terms of interviewing and kind of getting offers from companies. So, there's a wide swath of kind of challenges that might arise outside of just applying to jobs and making sure you have a good cover letter and resume. We're here to be kind of that sounding board for any questions you have, any concerns you might have, and hopefully to help not only coach you in developing some of these professional skills, but also hopefully being a good piece of a good person to kind of bounce ideas off of if you're not quite sure exactly what your next move should be. The other really nice part of our career department is that we do have selective hiring opportunities through our program. There's no guarantee, and I do make this very clear, no guarantee that we will get you hired at one of these industry partners. But typically what happens is these industry partners, a lot of them are financial companies, the fintech, but we also have Google and Microsoft on that board as well. Often they'll reach out to us and say, hey, we have a great entry-level kind of position open. Have your students apply regularly online, but then once you know who's submitted, can you send over that batch of resumes for those students directly to an internal contact at the company? That's really helpful for the students in the program because then you guys have that little bit of a toehold in the door because typically they're not necessarily going to hire you over anyone else for us passing along your resumes internally, but more so if you meet the qualifications for the job, they often will give CUNY Tech Prep members a little bit of a preferential treatment just in terms of scheduling for that first or second interview, which is really, really, really helpful. Looking over. Now, who is eligible? So this is something that you'll be able to kind of view on our flyers, but I did want to take a few minutes to kind of go over this. This specifically is a program that is best suited for computer science majors. Brooklyn College is computer science. However, there is the potential that someone who's maybe in applied mathematics or potentially even like an information technology major might be able to apply, but you have to be, I would say, like a computer science or related major is the first kind of requirement. The second is that we work with upperclassmen, and so the best way to phrase that is you'd be eligible to apply for next year's program if you are going to be graduating at the end of any of the following semesters. Fall 2017, Spring 2018, Summer 2018, Fall 2018, Spring 2019. If you have a date of graduation that's planned for later than Spring 2019, wait till the next year's program. Just because for us, it's not that we don't want to work with freshmen or sophomores, but just in terms of having a student body, especially for that group work, who's a little bit more matched up in their tech background skills, that's just a good way for us to kind of draw that line in the sand. And then lastly, and perhaps probably one of the most important eligibility requirements, we look for students to have already completed or have in progress classes in either data structures, discrete structures, or algorithms. That can be a little hard to assess on your own if you're not super familiar with the class progression in your major. I would just say apply anyways, because the staff, especially the technical staff, look over your transcript. If they have any questions or notice that you don't yet have a class in algorithms, say, they'll reach out to you directly to get more information and see if you can still be a good fit for our program, even if you don't have that currently right now in the bag. So the aim of this program is, obviously the primary aim is to get a placement and be successful hopefully in supporting students and going after those full-time tech positions or part-time or full-time tech internships if you're a non-graduating student. However, I would say very much that for the career side, we're also hoping to help give you the skills that will be helpful for you to have beyond just this, upcoming next year and beyond that first job out of college. Like I always say, if I put a student in a really nice job, but then let's say a year later they want to kind of move into a new company or they're applying for new roles, they don't have a good sense of how to operate in that kind of environment, and that's largely, what we cover as a career coach. I'm doing you no favor. So for us, it's not only trying to help you in the immediate sense in terms of those kind of successful outcomes, job or internship wise, but giving you guys the skills to be successful beyond that. Lastly, I would say, most importantly, the reason CUNY Tech Prep exists is that we have noticed that there's a potential for there to be a tech skills gap between where you leave off when you graduate from your CUNY academic department and what sort of skills a lot of the New York City tech companies expect out of an entry-level applicant. This program directly addresses that, and that's like the biggest kind of benefit for students is you will be able to be more competitive because you'll have a better grasp of those web dev full stack skills that employers are looking for. For a lot of CUNY graduates that weren't in this program but maybe had friends, we have heard directly that maybe they've gotten into a first or second interview, but a lot of times unfortunately it came down to just an issue where companies were not willing to extend an offer, largely because of the fact that they just knew that they weren't going to have time to train that individual in those skills that they kind of wanted them to have a little bit more in place already at the start of things. So in terms of our application process, the deadline is very quickly approaching. Monday, May 1st is the last day for you guys to apply online, so please make sure that you apply online by midnight on Monday, May 1st. And then once you submit that application, there's just two other kind of small steps in terms of the application process. The second part, once you've submitted the online application, our program assistant follows up and emails you a quick HackerRank challenge. Those are maybe 2 to 4 kind of co-challenge questions, mostly foundational to moderate in level. You just knock those out, send it back to us. We let you know if you passed or not. Lastly, for students who pass the HackerRank challenge questions, you guys will just be invited to come in the week of May 8th for a 30-minute kind of technical interview with one of our program volunteers. This isn't anything super crazy. We're not trying to throw super advanced kind of technical questions at you. More so, we just have you complete this 30-minute interview just so that we can have feedback from that volunteer who says, yep, this person has those kind of foundational tech skills that you're looking for in place. They've been able to demonstrate that in this interview. And also, they seem engaged. They seem like they want to be a part of this program for the full year, which is like another piece that we're really, really looking for. Lastly, for the online application, before I forget, also know that we just also need you to attach a copy of your most recent resume, unofficial transcript. If you have a hold on your account that you can't pay off before May 1st, we will take a PDF version of your DegreeWorks page off of CUNY Portal, so you can get around it that way, but transcript is ideal if you can get it. And then lastly, we do want to see sample of your own work. So if you don't already have like a Bitbucket or GitHub account, just throw like an academic project in there. It doesn't have to be 100% complete. It doesn't have to be the flashiest project in the world, but we just want to be able to get a little bit of a sense of kind of what your prior code or programming skills look like, and we'll take it from there. So yeah, if you have any questions, please reach out to the Magner Career Center. They have all of our contact information as well as more materials that kind of get into better detail of some of these aspects that I just spoke about. And yeah, I hope to see that some of you apply by that May 1st deadline. So thanks so much. See you.